quick turnaround, so really important for us to regain freshness from the last game. Some learnings there in what we need to do better and instill confidence and belief in the game plan and performance for the Friday's game.
Jonas, you've been very vocal in the past whenever it comes about the scheduling sometimes, whether it's players having to come back from their national team, stuff like that. How do you feel about it, you guys playing Sunday late and then having to have a quick week of practice and then Thursday you're on a plane again going to Seattle and then Friday playing in Seattle?
No comments. It's no, no comments on it. It is what it is. We do the best.
Okay. What have you thought about the morale in the locker room? I know you've praised your leadership in the past, your leadership on the team with some of the older players. Just how do you feel like morale is right now on the team?
You know what? I think we were all a little bit disappointed with parts of our performance in the weekend. We know what we do good. We know what we have to do better. And we've had really good, honest conversations about that, which I think is really important so we have a common goal on how we progress further as a team. And now we have a clear idea of where we need to go. So as always, players have been great with accountability, with open and honest feedback, and it's together that we can set those standards. And as always, they've been great in doing that.
I know sometimes, especially during a loss, everybody focuses on the negative, but was there a positive that maybe you saw from Sunday's match that kind of gives you I don't want to say hope, but something like you're like, oh, I saw that. Okay, maybe this can work better next time.
I mean, you're right. It's always gray scales when we look at the game, and you look at positive things to say that one thing, for example, Louisville, it's a really strong team on the second balls. They're a really strong team on set pieces, and you can see in the game that they barely create anything from that. I think they have 0 corners in the game. They do not create a lot in from their long balls and second balls because we are really disciplined and really good in our positioning over there. So that's a positive. We create some opportunities that is really good from us, but there are things that we definitely need to do better in the game as well. And I think it's a finding the balance between these two things about being like, okay, these things are working well, so let's continue doing that. And then of course acknowledge what we need to do better. But then our environment that we build around, we have to remember that behavior goes where reinforcement flows. So if we want people to do more of something, we need to reinforce that with positive attitude, with positive feedback. And these behaviors, we need to be so aware of what we want to see more of. And then we need to praise them when it's happening and putting them on a pedestal and making sure they come more and more and more. And that's the process. And that's why we need to focus on the positives during the week.
Thank you, Eunice.
Thank you.
Abraham, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Hey, Jonas, thank you for the time. Gia spoke a little bit about, when preparing, having to focus on yourselves and what you guys do well. But with a team like Seattle, who's been so successful against San Diego, is there any difference in terms of preparation for a team like that?
Yes and no. Not so much about the past because we can't do much about that. But in all games, it's about to try and find out what do we think the game is going to be like. And I think that's a lot of times the mistake you do when you say that you want to focus on yourself is to say like, okay, what is ourself? Because the reality is that the game is going to be played in a certain way. When two teams meet and you mix their two systems, that's going to have an outcome. And some games it means that it's going to be one team having a lot of possession, or one team is going to play a lot of long balls. So what do we think is going to happen a lot repetitively, and what is our best style to deal with that? And Seattle is the way they play, and it's similar to other teams, they like to play a very transitional game. And the best teams to play transitional is they like both teams to be very stretched out and to leave players up top. And we can see in our bad spells against Louisville and in our bad spells against Angel City, that's exactly what happens in there. It becomes two stretched teams, and the other team is the team that has advantage when it looks like that. And the Seattle game is going to be exactly the same thing. If the game looks like that with two stretched teams, and it did look like that in spells in the second half last time we played against them, it's advantage Seattle. So when we're saying focus on ourselves, we need to focus on how do we want the game to be played out. And that's the scenario against them, but against many teams in this league that we have to avoid. That's not advantage us. So if we can deal with that and limit those moments as much as possible, then I think we will have a good game.